Should your spouse be a shareholder of your business? You already share a home, but does that mean your business should be shared with them too? Hi, I'm Dave. I help make Canadian business owners' goals a reality with innovative financial advice. Deciding on whether to have your spouse as a joint owner of your company is a complex decision that depends on various factors. It's important to consider the nature of your relationship, individual involvement in the business, shareholder structure, and taxes. Before we dive into the pros and cons of having your spouse as a shareholder of your business, let's first define what exactly a shareholder is. A shareholder, also known as a stockholder or equity holder, is an individual, company, or organization that owns shares in a corporation. Shareholders are the legal owners of a portion of the company and as a result have certain rights and entitlements. By owning shares, shareholders have a financial interest in the corporation and can participate in the profits and growth of the business. First, let's explore how having your spouse as a shareholder can potentially impact your relationship. If you and your spouse have aligned goals and interests regarding the business, having them as a joint owner can be beneficial. It allows you to work together closely, share responsibilities, and make important decisions together. Even if your spouse possesses different skill sets, expertise, or experience, their skills can be complementary and add value to the business. It's still important to consider that mixing personal and professional dynamics can add complexity and be straining. Having your spouse as a joint owner might limit your ability to pursue your personal entrepreneurial ventures or investment opportunities. It can create dependencies and affect your individual decision-making abilities. Have a plan in place for the worst. If your marriage ends in separation, untangling the business ownership can become complicated. It could lead to disputes over the decision of assets and financial implications. Discuss and plan a succession plan if either of you decides to leave the business or in the event of unforeseen circumstances. Ultimately, the decision to have your spouse as a joint owner of your company depends on your specific circumstances, preferences, and mutual agreement. It's essential to communicate openly and honestly about expectations, roles, and responsibilities. Seeking professional advice and having open conversations with your spouse will help you make an informed decision that aligns with your goals. If you decide to include your spouse as a shareholder of your company, there are several key considerations that will help you decide how to structure their shares. Number one, if you want your spouse to still receive dividends but restrict their voting rights, you'll want to issue your spouse non-voting shares. This allows them to have ownership in the company without the ability to vote on company matters. You'll want to create a separate ownership agreement or shareholder agreement that outlines the ownership structure and clearly states that your spouse's shares are non-voting. This agreement should be drafted with the assistance of a legal professional to ensure it aligns with the laws and regulations in your jurisdiction. If you want your spouse to be an owner of the company but to not receive dividends, set up a share structure where your spouse holds shares with no entitlement to dividends. This can be accomplished by issuing a different class of shares to your spouse that does not have dividend rights. If your spouse is employed elsewhere, it may not be beneficial for them to receive dividends due to the extra tax they'd pay. Ensure you create a shareholder agreement that explicitly states that your spouse's shares do not entitle them to receive dividends. If you'd like your spouse to be a shareholder of your company but to not receive dividends or have voting rights, you'd want to issue them non-voting shares without the right to receive dividends. This is often done to have your spouse as a shareholder simply so that the company can pass on to them more seamlessly if you were to pass away. In conclusion, if you're considering adding your spouse as a shareholder to your company, you need to weigh the pros and cons that it'll have on your relationship, the impact it will have on the business, and you must ensure the shares are set up correctly. Thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified when new content is uploaded. If you're interested in learning more, we have another video for you. Click here to take a look.